Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to our audience in Europe and good morning to our American friends. My name is Andre Keller. I'm the CEO of Stylite, and we are honored to host today's event. Taking open source and the brand new F-Series into focus, we are proud to have a genuine expert panel with us. And let me promise you, there will be controversial debate today, as we heard recently some chatter in the internet raising the question, are we facing the end of core? But we will come back to that later. Introducing the panel, I'm really proud to have Mario Baldini, Vice President of Marketing of iX, with us. Mario, hi, and good morning to California. Brett Davis, Executive Vice President of iX, said once about Mario's exceptional experience and proven track record in building brands in the storage and networking arenas make him a natural fit. Mario, thank you so much for joining us today. It's an honor talking to you, and I'm looking forward what we do about
Likewise.
our controversy.
Thank you, Andre.
Chris Paradoon, Technical Marketing, iX. A warm welcome to Canada. Chris describes himself as a ZFS enthusiast with a long experience in infrastructure and security engineering. Chris, good morning, good day. Happy to have you with us and talking to you later. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, Andre.
And last but not least, Wim Bonis, Stylite CTO, system architect with a long experience, over 20 years designing IT systems in complex technical environments. Good afternoon, Wim. Thanks for your time. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Andre. Hi from Germany.
Hi. Introducing Stylite. For over 2 decades, we are an open source driven MSP with customers from medical, social, pharmaceutical, and public sector. And as we are doing the job, ZFS is part of our DNA in our computing center operation. So it was a logical step for us to look out for collaboration and the partnership with iX. That happened in summer 2020, and we are looking back to quite a time of successful collaboration, thanks to all of you guys. An information for you people out there watching us today, we give you the opportunity to ask questions by YouTube chat. Please feel free to ask questions, to raise your topics. The team in the background will take care of it and bring that to my attention, and we will talk about it at the end. You can also email us to truenas@stylite.de, truenas@stylite.de. We will collect your input and come back to that later within this event. From my experience, I'm doing open source software for over 2 decades now, and for me, open source means business. And you know, guys, open source strategies is not a new topic, and we always were certain that this is an undisputed strong motor in the IT industry. And taking the specific open source language into account, you know them all, you love it, like community Git, free of cost, openness, lock-in avoidance, data sovereignty, data ownership, and this list goes on. And I know already that hits Mario's nerves, and I'm happy to hear what you have to say about it. But is open source the only answer to the arbitrary decisions of big IT players who stand for critical IT solutions? Thinking of Broadcom currently, and I don't know what we will be facing in the future and at what cost. But open source means business. Mario, playing the ball into your direction, open source. What means open source for you personal and the business of iX, reinventing storage every day?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to talk about this, Andre. This role, and I'm sure Chris feels the same way, working for a company that has a higher purpose, that thinks about people before profit, is just a more rewarding career. So for me, I'm blessed to have an opportunity to represent TrueNAS, which is essentially the underdog in the enterprise storage marketplace, because I will admit that open source storage may not have been good enough 20 years ago, but in the second score of the 21st century, or we're in 2024, we know by virtue of top scoring on public review sites like Gartner Peer Insights, winning customer choice awards, and having a net promoter score better than every other commercial entity that we compete with, I believe open source does mean business, and it comes at a point when you have to look at new options to solve ever evolving challenges. And I was a backup administrator back in the day. That's why I've been largely without hair most of my working life. And I can say that in general, the demands are going up. The prices are going up. It has nothing to do with IX. We do sell appliances, but the price of the components going into the systems is going up. Demand is going up. New applications like AI and machine learning are coming around. And I have never heard anybody who said that their budget got doubled this year to do all that work. They're trying to do it all for the same. And so what we're really happy to do is spread the benefits of true data freedom to everyone. And you don't have to buy it from us. You can try it and use it forever. And our hope is by giving first that we have an opportunity for people to see where the technology works best. And rather than us tell them where it works best, try it yourself, use it. And if it works, keep using it. And that's how our business model works through resellers such as Stylite. When organizations want a turnkey optimized appliance with world-class support, they can get all those same benefits of open source while having the traditional face-to-face white glove service from partners like Stylite. So for me, I think open source today means additional choices to tackle the most hard challenges we have as in the data center, because data is important and we'd store all of it if we could. And TrueNAS helps you do that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really love the idea of download it, run it, enjoy it. That really works from our perspective. And this is good that we get this attention and that we get to the heart of the people. And this is also what I like in this Gartner report, because it shows where we are heading to. Chris, understanding Mario in a way of presenting strategical guidelines and picturing the future of ZFS, how are you looking at open source? What is Q&A doing here? What is your role?
My thought on open source generally is that it's about the community. It's about having that open collaboration and ability to contribute back. It's not something where we're trying to keep our cards close to our chest and hide what we're doing or our paths forward and how we bring this value to you. We want this to be available to everybody to use. So that's why we do the development out in the open. Anybody can run onto our GitHub right now and go check and review what we're doing, where we're going to be in the future. And if they'd like to change that and add a feature that they'd love to see on their own, we welcome their pull requests. We would love to get all kinds of community contributions, whether it's to our documentation, to our code itself, or even people making YouTube videos to help spread the word of TrueNAS into the community further.
Talking about YouTube videos, thank you very much. I think this is the right thing what we are doing here, guys. So coming back to Wim and Wim and I, this is a really long friendship, debating over a really long time how to run the business, how to store the data, how to be successful with the computing center operation, how to do the best for the people. And Wim, from an architectural point of view, running an IT 24/7 for customers here in Germany belonging to the so-called critical infrastructure, what means open source for you personally?
Thanks, Andre, Mario, and Chris for your input on open source software. As we are a heavy user of TrueNAS, I like the way how EX Systems integrates the mindset of the open source into their system. We can use all the best quality open source software, which is very well tested, thanks to you guys, and it fits very good in our data center. So I'm never afraid to lose any bit, so it's a very good system. And having it open source, I know if something is wrong, I can look what is wrong, and there's such a big community behind it. I find every time a solution for everything. So it's a very good thing to have it open source.
Thank you very much. Talking open source, let's become controversial. When we are talking open source, we are talking core. But as our audience knows, there is also scale. And in the past few days, there was some chatter, as I said before, some unrest, some noise. And I'm referring to something, the register.com, a UK platform, published on March the 18th, 24, an article claiming, and let me quote, TrueNAS Core 13 is the end of the free BSD version. Debian-based TrueNAS Scale is the future primary focus. Mario, what's going on? where am I with my M40 and my M50 in the future? Do I need to be concerned? Is the register right?
I'll let Chris add on some more of the details of what it means if you were to buy an appliance from us. But I'll speak more broadly here to say that it is the register's stated objective to bite the hand that feeds IT. So keeping that in mind, the story really is about calling out something that has existed for more than 15 years, well before IX Systems took control over the TrueNAS project. At the time, its original developer, Oliver, was being questioned relentlessly 15 years ago as to when they were going to move to Linux and kill BSD. 15 years later, we're proud to say that while everyone has doubted us, we have 15 years of actual data to show that we're committed to it. And we've most recently published a blog about the future of TrueNAS Core, specifically TrueNAS Core 13.3. So while in the future, it may be that we don't have a free BSD version, we have committed publicly to releasing a version that's aligned with FreeBSD 13.3. And if past precedent is indicative of future results, odds are we're arguing over nothing, and that those who love TrueNAS Core based on FreeBSD will continue to enjoy that for some period of time. And at a minimum, Chris, our existing customers can know that it's going to run forever. And heck, we have 11.0 boxes still running 10 years later, don't we?
Absolutely. There are still users on older versions of the FreeNAS branded product that are still quite comfortably running them. Of course, they don't have the necessarily the new features that we brought to our newer versions of TrueNAS Core, but they feel quite comfortable continuing to run their workloads on their existing, earlier FreeNAS versions. But if you go out and if you purchased your M40 or your M50 today and you had Core in it, or if you even purchased it a year from now, you're going to continue to be supported. We're continuing to make updates to Core. We are continuing to push security updates. We're looking at it as this is our, it's been a rock stable storage platform for people for years and years. We're not looking to upset that or change it. We're looking to continue to refine it and polish it and keep it usable for all of those users who want to continue staying on Core for those years to come.
I know, Andre, you feel the same way. Just because we have two versions on FreeBSD and on Debian Linux, both sets of fans assume that because we have one, the other one must suffer. And like most things in life, this isn't a zero-sum game. Our engineering team's also 5 times bigger than it had been. We have 20 times the users. So to think that we can't be successful with TrueNAS as a project on more than one operating system is like saying that a mobile app can only work on iOS and never on Android and vice versa. We don't think it's this. TrueNAS and OpenZFS themselves are full-fledged citizens on both operating systems. And unlike the other guys who promise you things and then don't deliver, we don't promise it until we can actually promise it. And that's where we're asking the industry to give us some more time, like the 15 years we've had delivering as expected. Give us some more time to prove that what people are afraid of now, it might be a little bit too early to be afraid. And our hope is that this brings more attention to TrueNAS. And as Chris, I'll leave this to you real quick. In the event someone wanted to transition from Core to Scale, we support that, right? So there's no lock-in and there's no restrictions at all, are there?
No, whether you want to continue to run Core or you want to migrate one of your systems to Scale, you're still remaining supported on that same hardware. When you purchase a support contract from us, we're supporting that system regardless of what you've chosen to run on top of it. When you say, I've got an enterprise license for it, that's an enterprise license that applies just as equally to Core as it does to Scale. So you can continue to run whichever one you've like. And we have several customers right now already using TrueNAS Scale in their production environments, whether it's for a data first or data only workload, as well as some of those more converged cases where they're running things directly on the TrueNAS Scale system to keep it close to the storage itself for the maximum IO.
When we looked at Scale the first time, we were really excited that something is coming, because from my point of view and from my experience, open source software development means constant change. So I think it was a natural and a logical step that you made going to Linux. From economical side of view, my concern was, of course, how to maintain 2 lines of code, how to do that in the future. And is there at some point a decision to make and to say, okay, here is the future, and maybe the future is Linux, but here on the other hand we have a marble which will not face any further development, but it's still there. And this is always a question for us, or it's a question for the architectural side of the computing center environment, which I want to ask Wim. Are you really concerned about core from an operational or architectural point of view, or are you saying, yeah, that's the good thing in open source, it will be always there?
Yes, maybe in the future I will miss a little bit the FreeBSD because it was so stable in the last years. But TrueNAS Core will not go away. It's open source, and it's the heart of the open source that it never will go away. And as your guys saying, the support is still there. And if you need to run it, and TrueNAS Core fits very well in the data center, in the backend, for the hypervisor. So it's all good. But I like the features of the new Linux-based system. You can get all the new software and the newest hardware on that systems, which maybe in FreeBSD takes more time to backport it, to port it to there. So I'm very, very happy that we are going forward in this type of software.
Real quick, Wim, I will say that what we have said publicly, and we welcome anybody to come to the blog or talk to Stylite. You guys know the answer to this. The only thing we have been guilty of is not committing to doing the next version of FreeBSD. That being said, we have committed to a model that says any improvements we make to TrueNAS are candidates to go to TrueNAS Core. And it's just for the reasons you mentioned, Wim, hardware support, new capabilities, etc. It only makes sense to develop new features on scale and, where applicable, backport them to core. The challenge is, unlike other commercial vendors, we're not going to promise you to do that because we know we'd be lying. We will promise it when we can promise it, because our goal is not to get you to buy anything now. We just want you to try it and use it and like it, and then talk to Wim and Andre about buying more for your computing center.
That's
yes,
true. Sorry, Chris.
Let me just get an answer. Yes, Mario, that is very good to have all the versatile solutions. So with TrueNAS scale, we can get all the good features. So we can have it faster in the backend with the NVMe solutions, and we can have Docker containers running serving good apps like Nextcloud or SyncThing for the customer. So it will be good at both ends. Yes.
Yes.
It's very good.
Our answer on this, Andre, and I know that the Register and other publications would like us to say otherwise. We do not agree that it's dead, because our business case is no different than it has been the past 15 years. And we expect that it will continue to live as long as the community wants it. And so far, the community loves it. And so we look forward to continuing to support them.
For me, making a statement, I'm not concerned. I know it. I know how open source works. I know how what level of code we reached with Core. It will not disappear. It's there. It's good. It's securing the business, and whatever I did with Core was the right thing, or let's say enterprise when it comes to the M-Series, for example. And to reveal a little bit what we are doing, we are running 50-50. It's scale and it's Core, and whenever we need to be very flexible, and it's not coming to appliances, of course it's scale, and we are looking at all these new features. As we are also well aware of what Dockers can do and what Nextcloud can do, and so on and so forth. So this is really doing good for the computing center. So the article in the Register is really long, and I don't want to quote every letter, but I think we will talk about it, and we'll not stop talking about that, and also state our course. And see what comes up. But talking about scale, the question is what's news in iX? And the first thing what came to me presently was, of course, there is a new series, it's the F-Series. I'm really curious about that, but because I think it's a scale implementation, and it brings us back all kinds of new gizmos and solutions, what we really love to see. So there would be talking about the latest development. This is an open discussion. Chris, what can we expect from that?
From the latest in scale, or from the F-Series in general? You're looking
F-Series in general, latest in scale.
From the F-Series, that's our flagship platform that we introduced just near the end of last year. Being an all NVMe setup, this was something we were designing from the beginning to be the fastest possible OpenZFS solution. So rather than using any PCI lane overcommitting or switching, each of the drives has dedicated lanes. So we actually switched to an AMD EPYC in there. We wanted to give everyone sort of maximum throughput on there to truly bring it to like the next level. We didn't pull any punches. We didn't hold back on this. We were aiming for the stars with this one. And based on the performance results we've seen of people running the F-Series in their production workloads, I think we've made a pretty solid hit on that. And it's only going to continue to get better as we bring in the new versions of TrueNAS Scale. So just probably about a month out is our next one, which is TrueNAS Scale 2404, codenamed Dragonfish. And we're planning to introduce a bunch more existing improvements to performance, whether it's for SMB, whether it's for metadata handling. But that's going to be available, of course, on all of the TrueNAS systems, not just the F-Series. So it'll be available if people choose to side grade any of their enterprise hardware, or again, run it on something they have themselves. We have people running some early betas and release candidates out in the testing community right now, and response has been very positive. So we're really looking forward to launching that one in about a month's time.
What would you use case? High availability database operation, high speed operation. What is this about? I'm really happy that we have an NVMe solution on board. Can you give us a few insights here? But I think, Wim, you wanted to say a thing.
And I'm happy that the F-Series is an NVMe-only solution. The speed will be fantastic for serving our virtual infrastructure. I'm certain that this is a perfect match for the enterprise market, and I look forward to hold such a system in my hands. And it could only be possible with Linux because the kernel, the NVMe only is a thing which is part of Linux. And so you see how important Linux is in that area. And so I'm very happy that this F-Series will come to the market.
And one thing I'll say, Andre, for resellers like yourselves, our goal at iX Systems, first and foremost, is to provide the software for free to everyone. The way what I call our virtuous circle business model works is that partners such as yourselves recommend these appliances. And specific to F-Series, we hadn't had an all NVMe product before that was highly available. So what this does is it opens up any use cases where someone would prefer high availability and all NVMe at the same time. That said, it now has extended our product portfolio that starts at a 5-drive desktop professional product that can do both flash and hard drive, all the way up to all flash systems here. So our goal with our product portfolio is to give our resellers like Stylite the appropriate building blocks to choose the right price performance. It's not our job to sell you the most expensive one and only sell that. We're very happy that you buy an F-Series for what it's great for, and an M-Series for what it's great for, and an R-Series, which isn't highly available, but might provide you the best price performance for your nearline backup or other use cases where HA is not required.
Yes, that's wonderful. We also liked your offers in the last year. For example, this fourth quarter offer, buy a M50 and be happy. That's wonderful. We liked it a lot. Talking about the series, you are everywhere in the alphabet. We are in X, in M, we are in F, we are in R. And from my perspective, there's a lot of letters in the alphabet. What comes next?
Well, you can imagine that our product strategy is one where we're never trying to have the most expensive components on the planet. All of our competition is doing that. So what we do is we try to find the right price performance point. So we'll never have the latest capacity hard drives, because why would you want to buy the latest capacity hard drives at a 2x premium when you can buy one slightly smaller for a much better value? So our product design strategy is value-based, not to take advantage of the latest and most expensive, but to be there when the early majority comes around and there's good supply of kit that's going to last many, many years into the future. So that we'll continue with a product strategy that is more value-based. But that being said, if you wanted to not buy appliances from us and run it, this software is the most used on the planet in storage. It's the most compatible with standard hardware on the planet. No one argues that. And I think that's also then a testament that allows us to put these things together so that you can be part of how we are able to give back by helping us earn money to reinvest in TrueNAS.
Yeah, thank you so much. No, this is also driving us, and our customers are enjoying that a lot. I mean, there is regular hardware coming, which is high performance wise, working really well. Support works well. This is all okay. And with the NVMe platform, I'm really happy. Question here is talking about scale. One thing what is driving me always a little bit into a certain direction is the question, Chris, how would it be if I have a core system and I want to migrate flawlessly to scale? Is this possible? Are there ways open to do that, or is this something where I really need to struggle with?
No, it's actually very easy to do, and we actually have multiple customers in production and home settings who have done this. Obviously, for a single controller system, you have that brief moment of data unavailability where you're rebooting. But we've worked with our enterprise high availability customers to have you be able to pivot completely between core to scale on a high availability system with no data outage. Because of the OpenZFS code being shared across both FreeBSD and Linux, you can still import all of your pool there directly. We've done our work in the middleware so that your general data services, whether it be SMB, NFS, or iSCSI, will all be ported across, and you'll just be able to continue serving up your data from your new TrueNAS Scale version. Even if you've created a couple of virtual machines on TrueNAS Core, we have some people who use that in a home environment. Those actually get converted over into the KVM-based virtual machines on TrueNAS Scale once you're migrated.
So you would say,
yes, and even if you have a problem, yes, Chris, and even if you have a problem, you can go back.
Well, this is one of those processes that we'd suggest you do it when the time is right. So a lot of people are feeling, oh my gosh, you're pushing me to migrate. Absolutely not. You can do it anytime that you want. And naturally, there's some best practices around making sure you're upgraded to the current version of Core before trying to do the migration. I think the key takeaway here, though, is that if you have any of these questions, Vim and team would be happy to answer them for you with backline support from us at IX Systems, because one of the reasons we're so highly rated online is that we actually help people when they ask for help like this. And a lot of times they don't expect it. So but we want people to know, we want people to be successful, and everybody in the community is rooting for everybody else. It's not like they want to see people fail. If you love TrueNAS, you want to see people succeed.
Yes, you're right, Mario, but you have to read the release notes before upgrading, because one guy came to us and he upgraded without really reading the release notes, and that something is not supported anymore, and he really nearly lost his data, but we could help him.
One could say that about any technology in the computing center. You might want to read the manual first.
I think so too. I think my general feeling is that Chris and Wim are going more easy with these topics than Mario, you and I, because for me, always changing an operating system is something what I'm not doing every day. So my idea of that is, if I don't need to migrate away from Core, for some specific reason, I don't need to do that, because the systems that appliances are under support, why to change? And if there is reason, then take care of your data and migrate happily, because I know you guys are in the background. We were experiencing that really works, and so thank you for that. Even though maybe read the release notes. This is what you should do, because your data is valuable and you don't want to jeopardize that.
And raise your hand for help. That's what the community is there for, in order to help folks with questions. And if you have a support contract, clearly we have our IX experts standing by to take those calls.
Guys, I'm following a little bit what is happening left and right of me. There are some screens, some chat and chatter to follow, and I would say we talked about the register, we talked about the F-Series, we talked about scale. I'm looking forward to Dragonfish. I'm really excited about that, and I know there is also not only a lot of letters in the alphabet, there's also a lot of fish in the pond. And I'm sure there's something coming after Dragonfish. Maybe
yes, it is formally called Electric Eel.
Oh, I heard about that. I didn't know that. This is not a secret. Thank you very much for sharing.
We're an open book, and that's one of the funniest things. Often the people who tell the most open, if you provide more information, you're criticized even more. But we look forward to bringing it on, because we believe, like you, Andre, that an open world is one where we're going to have more success solving our challenges.
I think so too. I heard this word. I'm not aware of what features might be coming up. I'm sure there's a long list of things to consider. Happily looking forward to that. From my point of view, we could enter a phase where we are looking at user questions. There was some user questions coming up in the chat, as far as I can see. For example, there was a comment from, I'm reading from the name that this might be a German follower. Where and when is the future of metro cluster style setup? A metro cluster is something what we are often asked. This is something like you are running on-site 2 computing center sites. You have, for example, a fiber optic connection between them, and so the question is, why not to run 2, I'm calling that head nodes, who are communicating flawlessly with each other. We are able to do that we have 2 controllers in the M40, M50, M60. What is with Metro? Chris, can you share some insights?
So I believe what Stefan's looking at here is sort of like a distributed piece of storage across sort of a wider area network. When people talk about metro clustering, they usually mean 2 systems in different physical locations, yes, linked by a high bandwidth feed, usually for something like synchronous replication. Now, we would not have something necessarily that would give you a synchronous replication of all of your data, like a running virtual machines in one location and being able to migrate them long distance, for example, would be challenging because of the transactional nature of ZFS. But for things that are like a file-based workload out of SMB or NFS, that's where we have pieces in TrueNAS Scale, like the sync thing application, that can be used to do that replication across a wider area network. We have customers doing this for locations around the world where they're actually synchronizing these large folders used for coding. They're synchronizing these source code files, several hundreds of thousands, or even, I believe, millions, to 5 different sites across the globe for all of their different locations. So I believe that might be the answer about the metro clustering. All right, and it looks like he says yes, exactly this in the YouTube comment. I hope I've answered that for you, Stefan, is what you're looking at.
Oh, this is wonderful that you are following up the YouTube chat, because I don't see that. I have really helpful people around me who are telling me what's going on, but I can't see that. So if this is answered for Stefan, then I think thank you very much. That's great. Chris?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
Vim
think
had a
Vim would
comment.
like to weigh in here.
Yeah,
Yes, please.
yeah. But Chris, wasn't the whole intention about scale to scale out? So is this dropped? Will this coming in the future, or what is it? So where's the scale thing in scale?
So the challenge with that is that the current iteration of the local area clustering in TrueNAS Scale was built on the Gluster FS file system. And unfortunately, it was effectively development had ceased from Red Hat. So we were unable to really continue to say we can use this going forward and continue to support and evolve it. We are exploring other options in the background, is what I can say right now, to allow us to return to that sort of close area clustering that TrueNAS Scale was promised to have, which is the ability to say, you know, you have a single namespace accessing one of these systems and its data is distributed across all of them, whether it's in a mirrored or an erasure coded fashion. So we are exploring things from an engineering perspective. However, we don't have anything to share at this point. When we do, believe me, we'll be more than happy to let you know about it.
Okay, I'm happy to hear it.
Hey, one thing I'll throw in, coming from the mainframe days, I don't think TrueNAS is meant to do away with mainframe workloads in financial services and transaction processing companies. Oftentimes, TrueNAS is judged by the most extreme use case on planet Earth. And what we'd like to say is we have people using it in the most extreme use case. We just wouldn't recommend that because we're really building it more for the largest group of people. So I would say that as we do go moving forward, and especially as TrueNAS continues to grow, you could expect us, as the company grows, to gain even more ability to develop faster as we do this, which is one of the reasons we're doing this Q&A with you, Andre, is to make sure folks know that not only can they use it for free, but they can find systems and great service from partners like Stylite.
Thank you, Mario. I got a question on the email side. This is simple. Chris, will the M40, M50, if I buy it today with Enterprise, which means Core Enterprise, will it be supported, say, 5 years from now, if I buy it with a 5-year package?
Absolutely. We will continue to support you for as long as you have purchased that package. If it's a case of you're continuing to run Core, then we're into what we call a sort of sustained development cycle for Core, where we're going to continue to port in things like security fixes and additional updates to the packages, for example. So even if you chose to remain on Core for the duration of that, you would still be in a supported coverage area. If you chose to migrate to Scale, your support contract goes with you with your hardware, and you would still be supported if you chose to migrate to Scale on that hardware. But to answer in brief, yes, you're absolutely going to be supported for the life of it. We have no intention to change that.
I got one question, which is a totally different spin right now, but I will ask that question, I think, to Mario. When we are looking at IT systems and how a computing center works, it's about storing and computing and storing. So we talked a lot about storage, but what is with computing? The question is, how are you looking on this Broadcom situation, what we are facing currently in the market? And let me be frank with that. This is also my concern, asking myself, how are we doing IT, cost-efficient IT for small and mid enterprises in the future? What's going on? Do you guys have an opinion?
We certainly do. In fact, we did a survey recently of over 700 folks that use TrueNAS in the community, and we asked them what they were looking to do. And it turns out that they were even more conservative than what the industry analysts are saying. Industry analysts are saying that 3 out of 10 organizations will replace their primary storage vendor by virtue of this announcement. Now, that's good news for us. We're not trying to dance on any graves. We love VMware, by the way. And if you want to keep running VMware, it works awesome on TrueNAS. But I think what it's demonstrated is that people are looking for technologies like KVM-based hypervisors in order to avoid what is inevitable. If a technology is proprietary and it comes under the ownership of a new owner, they often change the strategy. And it's just I don't think it's right or wrong. It just is the way the world works. And this is bringing some awareness back to the idea that, well, it may not have been 10 years ago I could choose a KVM-based hypervisor and feel confident. Today, it's the customers are having high degrees of confidence about this. So we really have no specific competitive angle here other than to say that if you're going to be changing your hypervisor to one that is KVM based and open source, we already know that there's been more testing, soak time, feature development, bugs, and improvements in open source storage software to match that than there would be on the commercial side. And so we're feeling pretty confident about that as it relates to the future of people making choices. Going back to my first comment I'd made, we're really here just to offer a choice to folks that we know works and they can try it before they buy it.
Thank you very much for that statement, Wim.
Yes, Mario, you name it. VMware is also running in our data center and is running very well on your storage systems, and it fits very good together, and it gives us the best speed we ever seen. But to name the things, you said KVM based, so that's mainly Proxmox, which is open source, but there's also Xen based, which is not based on KVM. So we look at the Vates technology, which is XPG and G. We also look into that. So, and we are happy to have a full open source stack in the future where the hypervisor and the storage is all open source. And so we are not so much in control of these companies, but still we have a contract with you. You support your storage system. We can buy a support contract for KVM, Proxmox, or from Schweiz for our servers. So we still support it and can get help. And we sell that to our customers, and so they are happy to have a supported system. So I think this is what open source sources give us in the future, to have a good feeling about that and not having Broadcom buying this and make all our dreams go away.
Chris, please.
Yes, and in conjunction with sort of the open source and open development mindset, of course, we're able to ensure that we can work properly, not just with the closed source things like VMware or Hyper-V, but we work in concert with KVM and XCP. We support any hypervisor you want to plug into TrueNAS. We will help you out with it. We will help you configure it, and we will help you get the right performance and the right solution using our solutions, using it, whether it's TrueNAS Core or Scale. Whichever hypervisor you want to plug this into, we'll support you.
I think so too. I mean, it's okay that Broadcom makes decisions. I mean, VMware will not disappear. The question is, will you in future enjoy it from the commercial side? What is the cost? What is the operation cost? What to do? I think at the beginning we talked about open source means business, and as far as I can sum up our today's meeting, I would say it's not a dream, it's reality. We can really work with that, and we will also find solutions for the hypervisor infrastructure here. At this point, I think as we are nearly up the time, and we are landing 45 minutes after we began, I think it's just a last question for Mario. Where are you seeing the trends? Where are we in 10 years' time? What's going on in the storage industry from your point of view?
My view, honestly, is that storage will no longer be a proper noun. What I mean by that is we amongst all people in technology use largely commodity off-the-shelf components to deliver a base infrastructure upon which to run what is largely becoming open software. And there's very little distinction between a network switch, a compute node, and a storage node. In fact, oftentimes they can be all three at the same time. And so our view is it's not about a religion of storage. It has to do with the fact that you want your workload to run wherever it's going to provide the best experience. You want the storage that workload needs as close as possible to wherever that is. And we believe that edge computing is going to be the reason why people re-architect their storage, because more and more it's the ability to run applications at the edge. And I know Chris, when he was coming from the community to join the IX family was most excited about this, because imagine now a node at the edge that does everything from a storage perspective, and you can run an application on top of it that radically accelerates the experience. We already have some customers in media and entertainment who've been able to 20x improve their sound processing. Why? It's because a little app is running on the storage. We don't want to be seen as the best storage device. We are already the best data platform on earth. And we believe data platform is what the future of storage is, because data platform is software that runs on the same commodity off-the-shelf stuff where the networking services and the compute services reside.
And let me add one thing, because you said something what is really important for me. Re-architecture is the word of my day, of today, because that means we are also trying to tell our customers, please be brave, do your storage, do your operating by yourself, because it's possible and it can be done. And that's my message also. Be critical when it comes to cloud, be your own cloud, take the storage, go ahead. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. This was a wonderful time spending with you. This is a real expert panel, and I like the format. Maybe we will meet soon in this setup, talking about the next important thing. I'm certain we will find enough topics to talk about. If you have questions, please feel free to ask on TrueNAS@stylite.de, or use your channels with which you are normally communicating with IX. I would be happy to be with you the next time. I wish you a good day. All the best for you. Take care, and happy Easter and a good day. And see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Andre.